So Insomniac Marvel Wolverine is scheduled to release on the 15th of September this year. And we also have the PlayStation State of Play, which is kind of brewing in the background. And apparently it's going to be a big deal because Sony is showing big dick energy when it comes to the showcase. So from what we've heard so far, it looks like Wolverine is going to be one of the first games that are going to be showcased in this State of Play. Now, with that being said, before we dive into the video, if you have any other additional thoughts or features that you might want to see showcased in this game, or you want to see on release when the game comes out, let me know down in the comment section below. And with that being said, do smash the like button if you like content like this, and I'm going to catch you guys in the video. Now, one thing I've been saying so far is, when it comes to superhero games, there is one thing that you absolutely need to have correct, okay? For Marvel Wolverine, we want him to have a massive and strong suit collection. Insomniac has already kind of set the standard really high when it comes to Marvel Spider-Man games. In those games, suits were not just, like a cosmetic thing you just put on. They were a massive part of the hype. So every single time a new suit comes out, players kind of hop back into the game just to play with the suit on, so it kind of adds more into the replay value of the game. So naturally, people do kind of expect for Insomniac to give this game the same type of treatment, or at least the same type of energy, right? So the obvious suits the fans might want to see is, I believe, the classic yellow and blue suit, the brown and tan suit, the X-Force Wolverine suit, the Weapon X suits, the Old Man Logan suit, and also the patch suit from Madripoor. The patch suits kind of make sense because obviously the game is set in Madripoor, and Madripoor is one of Wolverine's most iconic locations, so makes sense that they'll have that already in there. But just a hint, I think it's just gonna look super cool, right? So Wolverine's probably one of those characters, apart from Spider-Man, that has really good suit collections. And I feel like if Insomniac really wanted to deliver in this game, they're gonna lean towards that. But yeah, suit collection, for me, that's gonna be the way to go. Let's get to the next one. Marvel's Wolverine cannot feel like Spider-Man in any way, shape, or form. Because Spider-Man is all hopeful, he's all colorful, emotional, in every heroic way possible. But Wolverine is different. This is Logan's story. It's a darker story, it's more violent, more personal, and obviously more painful. So from what has officially been shown, the story is about Logan, searching for answers about his past. That already points towards the classical, Wolverine themes, memory loss, experiments, betrayal, violence, and identity crisis. This game is taking us to Madripoor, Canada, and Tokyo. These locations do really matter because they all fit differently in Wolverine's story and the history of Wolverine. Madripoor gives us the criminal underworld side of Logan. That means there's going to be a lot of bars, there's going to be a lot of gangs, mercenaries, assassins, and other shady deals. Canada kind of connects Logan's roots with the wilderness, potentially the Weapon X. Maybe you might get hints to that. I've been staying far away from all the spoilers, but I'm just kind of, plugging in based on location what we might see. And then we also have Tokyo, which might open doors to Wolverine's history with Japan, honor, samurai style combat, and more potential storytelling. Now, to be clear, Insomniac hasn't really said anything in regards to the story arc and how it's gonna go. So all we're saying here is basically hypothetically speaking, right? So, but from these three locations, we can have an idea of what the game might entail. But based on the overall thing we've been seeing, it looks like Logan is once again hunting for the truth while enemies from his past, kind of keep trying to stop him. So I think that's already a kind of a Wolverine type of story, you can already tell, but it's just how dark and how mature would they make it. I know the game is rated M for mature, but that's yet to be seen. So hopefully they come in clutch with that dark kind of sensation we get from Wolverine. This is probably like the creme brulee when it comes to every single fighting superhero open world game. So for me, it's gonna be a memorable villain and boss fight, right? So for this game to be special, the boss fights have to be unforgettable. Take, for example, the one we've seen in Insomniac Marvel Spider-Man 2018. The fight with Doc Ock, I think, is one of the best fights we've seen Insomniac display. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of the Venom fight, so I'm kind of leaning more towards Doc Ock. And from what we see here so far, it's confirmed that the enemies and the characters will include Omega Red, Mystique, and Reavers, and also a prototype Sentinel. Omega Red is most obvious confirmed boss fights, okay? He's one of the Wolverine's classic enemies, and the visual is perfect for his gameplay. So he has tentacles, super strength, durability, and a deadly presence, which kind of leads me to believe we're gonna have some kind of a fast pace boss fights with Omega Red, because obviously tentacles and etc. So I think it's kind of lead up to be a really cool boss fight, because I think for a good game, superhero game, you gotta have really good villains that are gonna carry the whole show, because that's what's gonna keep you feeling like you're the superhero character, if you kind of get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, and I kind of think like Mystique would have kind of a more complicated role. She is confirmed to appear, but we do not know if she's a villain, ally, or both. So it would be a strong way to say Wolverine is definitely fighting Mystique, because we don't know that for a fact. But, for what we can say is that Mystique opens door for deception. We could say it that way. She could trick Logan, manipulate events, etc., disguise herself as other characters or whatnot. Like, usual Mystique. When it comes to the villains, I kind of want them to tone it down with the amount of villains they put in the game, because having so many villains in the game kind of ruins, the pacing of the game, ruins the story of the game, because every character kind of needs a time to shine in the main screen before they eventually get killed off or totally disappearing, right? So taking lessons from the Spider-Man games, take it down a little bit with the villains, because we want to have much time to spend with all these characters. But yeah, with that said, memorable villain and boss fights, I think like this should be the creme brulee, because that's what we're going to do most of the time while playing the game, right? Let's go to the next one. So this is the part I feel like is the actual thing that's gonna carry this game the whole time. We're talking about the combat. The combat cannot feel soft, because this is not Spider-Man. The combat needs to feel heavy. Every single claw strike needs to have a weight to it. Every single finisher needs to have impact. Every enemy I pull my claws on, they should feel like I'm ripping through them, right? I mean, I should feel like I'm ripping through them, because I'm the one playing the game. So Insomniac, they've never let anyone down when it comes to combat from what we've seen in the Spider-Man game. So I kind of have my trust in them. I know they're going to deliver in this aspect. You want Wolverine to feel invincible, but you don't want him to feel untouchable, right? The healing factor, that could come in like once you've gathered a few more points from a few more hits on the enemy, maybe you might start to heal up a little bit more. But yeah, they got to find a way to make that not just, make you feel invincible like Wolverine, but because it's a game, you want to be able to play and kind of have that tense moment in that gameplay. So the healing factor, they have to find the right tuning to make it feel just right. And then the brutal combat, that's what makes it Wolverine. That's what separates it from Spider-Man or any other character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Wolverine is known for rage and gore. So, also when it comes to the health bar and the healing factor, there has to be some kind of a rage meter where he can go berserk, like what we've seen in God of War games. Kratos' Spartan Rage, something similar to that. Whether it is that you're gonna gain points to use your rage as you're fighting and you're accumulating points, your rage meter fills up, or I don't know how they're gonna implement that, but this has to be one of the core things that's gonna keep the gameplay going, because that's the most thing you're gonna be doing in this game anyway. You're gonna be playing and you're gonna be fighting random small enemies, bigger boss fights, and that's what's gonna carry it. The gameplay, the combat, and the healing factor, and and all that thing going on there. So I'm not a developer, but I can really see what could make a good Wolverine game. What do you guys think? And now for the final one. This is the ultimate Wolverine experience. The final point is basically having every other point gathered together, right? So, and that's basically rage, pain, instinct, tracking, brutality, trauma, loyalty, violence, honor, regret, because these are the characteristics that makes you Wolverine. I mean, it doesn't make you Logan. Logan is a totally different guy. I'm talking about what makes you Wolverine. He should be able to track enemies, smell blood, sense danger. I know we've seen this in some of the gameplays. We've seen some kind of hints in how Wolverine will track footsteps, smells. Obviously, we're going to have stealth sections in the game. We've had in Marvel Spider-Man 2 where we had to play as Mary Jane in the stealth sections, and I know how everyone feels about that. So obviously we might not, or hopefully fingers crossed, we don't get anything similar to that in this game. But stealth sections, which is, I feel like is one of the most hardest things to implement in the video game, a good stealth game, right? So, the game should show both sides of Logan, right? One side is the animal side, the berserker, the man who can lose control, destroy everyone in front of him. But also the other side of him, which is, the broken side, the man who has been used, experimented on, betrayed, and etc. That's what creates the good Logan and Wolverine story. That balance that will make or break the game. If Insomniac only gives us violence, the game might be fun, but shallow. But if they give us a story, it might not just feel like a Wolverine game, but it will also feel like a Logan game. So with that being said, what you guys want to see in this game, right? What's the top 5 things you think you want Insomniac to nail in this game? I don't know what they are. You know, these are the top 5s. I could boil it down to top 5s, but I think there's so much you could talk about. But obviously, we can't wait to see what they have for us in the state of play. Let me know down in the comment section below what things you want to see in this game. What are your thoughts? Did you like the video? Smash the like button, share with your friends. And I'm going to catch you guys on my next one. We out.